We're going to go with a fireside chat with Faherty. You're going to hear from Sarah Sensperano and Randall Bailey. So welcome to the stage.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Sarah Sensperano, and as Alex just told you, I've been here for 4.5 years working as an associate director of CX with some great brands today with Faherty brand here. We're really excited to talk to you about all the ways that we've worked together in the last 9 months to help drive really fantastic loyalty results, but also thinking about where do I start with Movable Inc? How do I decide what to test? How do I decide where to go from here? And then how do I use that data to actually inform triggers and BAU emails in order to launch something really successful? So before we dive in, I'd love for Randall to introduce herself, introduce Faherty, and how she works with the company.
Hi everyone, I'm Randall. Thank you guys for coming to our session. Hopefully you get some good nuggets, and if not, we're super close to lunch, so that's a win. So as they mentioned, I manage all retention marketing at Faherty, email, SMS, and I picked up loyalty in coming into this position. I started my career in buying and then moved over to e-commerce. So admittedly, I'm not the most tech-savvy gal. I really look for vendor partners that can help me streamline my processes and give the most bang to my buck, to build that growth channel. 2 fun facts about me. So during the pandemic, I co-founded a consulting agency called Ethos, and we helped BIPOC and women-led brands get into retail. So that was something fun that I did during the pandemic. And then another fun fact, and I would write this one down, this is actually my 2nd time working with Movable Inc. So I'll circle back at the end about this time versus the first time so you can kind of see the progression of my experience with their company. Okay, so Faherty. By a show of hands, has anyone heard of Faherty? Anyone shopped them? Oh, okay, actually a lot, that's great. I actually had not heard of Faherty before I started. Didn't even know how to say it properly. So kind of coming over to this company, I've learned a lot. They are a mission-based company, so that really resonated with me from founding Ethos to now working at Faherty. They really want to make sustainable, wonderful product. It feels great. It's great for all of life's most, fun moments. They're there for you. And then on top of that, they really do a lot with social impact. So we have like Second You, we do beach cleanup, so they kind of put their money where their mouth is. This company is founded by 2 twin brothers, AF and MF. We keep it really simple there. And then Carrie, which is AF's wife, she does all of impact. So we've been around for 11 years. We have a tremendous amount of growth, both on the e-commerce side and the brick and mortar side. So as you can imagine, we're a busy team. Okay, so a little more about how I got to Movable Inc. Again, mentioning I manage all of retention marketing, and we had a very big deliverable this year. We're trying to grow our retention by 10%. So pretty big goal. As you can imagine, loyalty layers up really nicely into that. Our loyalty program, when I started, was 2 flows. One was birthday and one was referral. Essentially nothing. It wasn't doing anything, no one knew about it. And so as you guys can see from the numbers behind, we've made some pretty meaningful progress over the past few months. We've seen really great lifts in our redemption rates and our revenue, and I will paint the wonderful picture of how we got there throughout this presentation.
Thank you for giving kind of the lay of the land there. We've been working together, as I mentioned, for about 9 months now, and Randall has a really lean team, and by that I mean it's Randall. So I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that and looking for ways to focus on where do I start, how do I kick off quickly, what are wins that I can get under my belt really fast, while also thinking about how do I test out this data in order to prove that it's really valuable and worth the investment from my team and my company to do. So would love for you to talk about how we chose to start here and how that progressed.
Yeah, so we met with you guys, I think, the fall of 2023, and you guys did an amazing presentation and showed us all the things we could do. It was like Cheesecake Factory. I was like, oh, I want everything. And so we made our list, and we talked to you guys, and afterwards we kind of sat down and we went through all our priorities. And then I was like, oh, who's gonna do all of these things that I wanna do? That would be me. So after 4 months of us not doing anything, I was like, I guess I better do something quick. So this is how we came to doing this small test, just A/B testing, to have the customer's name on the email or not. I know it seems really small, but it was just like kind of getting our feet wet here. And we layered it into our President's Day sale, and we saw a significant lift in click-through rate. So we're like, okay, I guess we're kind of onto something. So then next, we were like, okay, banners. How can we get into this? Still pretty low lift. I need to get my conversion in a better place. I don't know how you guys felt in February, but conversion was like plaguing me, and it still is. So we started with adding abandoned cart to the top of our emails. Super simple, really easy, and we saw a lift in our conversion and revenue. I think it took us like an afternoon to get up. So again, streamlined processes, and we were happy with this result.
Yeah, so we started with contextual here, something really simple that we can pull in from the ESP and evolve to this place of behavioral content using our stories data in order to inform this. But with that, the goal really was to get this loyalty program up and running. It was to revamp what already existed, which was 2 emails, like you said, but also to get several others out the door and make it a known program. So how did you take what you learned from the contextual and behavioral tests, and how did that apply to revamping your loyalty program?
Yeah, so when it came to loyalty, we kind of wanted to get an understanding of where our customer was. So we sent out a survey to about 300,000 people in our loyalty program, asking them a range of questions of what other programs are you in, you know, have you enjoyed our program? And we actually found that 73% didn't know that they were in our loyalty program. So that's a lot. And then 53% had never redeemed any of their points. So that's pretty concerning. So we're like, okay, we need to build out a full suite of emails. But first, let's just start warming them up. And since the banner worked from abandoned cart, let's layer that in here, put it at the top of our campaign emails, and just start kind of making them aware that they have rewards or we have a program. And we started to hear from CX that customers were asking about their rewards. People were bringing the emails and showing them in store. So there was some engagement there. And that gave us the confidence to launch 11 new loyalty flows between February and March. So pretty robust, everything from your points are expiring soon to you're close to a reward, to you're in this tier and here are the benefits. So that was a really big win for us. And it all started with a banner.
Yeah, and something to call out here too is Randall mentioned that first test we did was about 4 months into contract. By 5 months in, these 11 emails were launched. So that's how quickly, as a team of 1, Randall got this up and running and had seen some really impressive results. So now that we had that in place and you launched these emails, you obviously had some outdated triggers and some things that were older that we wanted to improve. Can you talk to us about how you took what you worked on for loyalty and then brought it back to what already existed?
Yeah, so we needed to relook at referral and birthday because they did not look like the rest of the suite at all. And really just made some minor tweaks. We included, like what tier that they were in. We included their names in the emails. We refreshed the creative. And just from doing those small things, we saw a pretty significant lift in conversion. We just kind of parlayed those learnings over, and this was a really easy layup for us.
So moving along, now that we had loyalty launched, now that we updated triggers, we've been doing A/B testing across contextual and behavioral use cases. The thing we really wanted to do was give Randall her time back and really think about efficiency, and especially coming into a large holiday, big retail holiday, as you all know, with Memorial Day. How do we take this and get some of that off your plate so we could focus more on strategy? So I'd love for you to speak to us about what this templatization idea was and why we decided to launch it to start with Memorial Day.
Yeah, so as lean as I am, our creative team is probably equally as lean. We send emails every single day, and they're managing things for site and paid and all the other areas. So it was kind of a cry from my creative team, like, can you please help us out and streamline some of this? So then I came to you and Randy and I was like, can you help me out? And what we decided to start was with Memorial Day. It was the closest holiday coming up. And we have used this template before, this top 10. We've used it probably like 5 or 6 times throughout the year in other promos, and it always killed it. So we felt like that would be the easiest place to start by just layering in this product. So all my team has to do is just create the postcard at the top, and then everything below is dynamically populated. So from this test, we then were like, okay, maybe we can start incorporating this in like evergreen templates. Same kind of concept, you put your postcard at the top, and then we have a lockup of 4 products, 6 products, whatever it is, that dynamically pull in from the collection page.
Yeah, and this is using a Shopify integration that's just pulling in the image, the product name, the dynamic link for you. So take some of the creative work off the plate, as you mentioned, for your lean team. And then from this 10, we have created a template of 4, and this just plugs in a category really easily. So things like linen shop that are more specific categories, something more broad, just like men's sale, women's sale. So this one template became something really flexible.
Yeah.
In terms of time, how much time in your day or in your week do you feel like this gave back to you or the team?
Oh, easily a third for my creative team, which is good because I had a third more work for them. So I was like, I'll trade you. But yeah, they're really happy and excited by this. We shared it with our EVP, who was also excited. There's just so many things that we're looking to do. And I think, we all work in email. It's pretty rinse and repeat for most things, and we'd like to spend more of our time doing more of like the beautiful editorial messages. So for these ones, it's just easy to rinse and repeat.
Absolutely. So would love for you to talk about some of the things we have coming up. Now that we have templatization, we have triggers launched, where are we going from here? Where do you see Movable Ink really fitting in nicely to your program?
So we had to go back to some flows that don't actually exist. So this is when you guys will see. We are building out a new flow for customers that shop in store with us first. Right now we just have a welcome series that kind of covers everything, but only for online shoppers. So this will be another net new flow that we bring in. It's about 7 emails, and really we wanted to make sure that when we launched this, we focused on layering in loyalty from the beginning. So from this, we'll have some great learnings. It'll calculate, your rewards points, how close you are to reward, and we have some dynamic waterfall logic that we're layering in here. So when we get this series up and running very soon, we'll be able to parlay these learnings into our online welcome series, which desperately needs a revamp too.
Yeah, and I think what's really great about this also is a lot of this data is passed from the ESP, but something else we're doing is taking the data that you're sending us and then calculating it on our end in order to figure out where they are or how close they are to a reward. So layering in data you already have and then kind of starting to fill that gap also, I know, for data that you don't have but you want to use.
Right. And then we've seen so many wins happen in our loyalty program so far. So for instance, our Expire reminder email flow does like 60% of the revenue in my loyalty flows. I asked Sarah, can we do anything with this in SMS? So we are exploring potentially layering in some of these key messages in SMS to see if that also performs in that channel. So we'll do, like your points are expiring soon. We want to do some A/B testing around rewards versus points. I don't know which one they prefer, so I'd figured let's test and hear from the customer. And then including some benefits banners at the bottom of our email just to entice them to join the program and see if that moves the needle as well. And then next, super exciting, I've never done this before at all the companies I've been at, is we're gonna do some dynamic testing for the nav bar. So we have 56 potential categories that a customer can see at the top of the nav bar. We'll keep the men's and women's the same, but then for accessories and kids, it's a smaller business for us, so we'll rotate those out based on what the customer has shopped or browsed most recently. So I think this will be an easy win, hopefully gets us some good click-through and conversion, and I'm super excited to see how this performs.
Yeah, and this is another one that, and you can see behind me here if I move over a little, but it's a CSV data source that we just got all the categories from you, and we're able to kind of manipulate that to fit the nav bar. So when you think about what a customer wants to see, there are so many options they can be browsing on your site. They can be looking at any of the men's, any of the women's, but to your point, there's a small subset of those that really want to see accessories and kids. So this is one we're really excited to test together and see what kind of results we have. So to round us up here, in terms of what we're looking to do next and what you're really excited about and what everyone can keep an eye on your program for, what does that look like?
Yeah, so first I'll take a step back and kind of pull you guys back from my first slide about this is my second time working with Movable Inc. The first time was in 2019. I think I met you guys like right before holiday. I didn't really understand what this platform could do at all, and we just used it for store locator for 3 months, and then I was like, this isn't really worth it. So moved on. But now coming back and being such a lean team, I feel like you guys have really helped open my eyes to all the things that I can do. And at first I was feeling super overwhelmed by all the options, but really kind of just taking it slow and building upon our learnings has helped me now hopefully streamline some things for my creative team, get some easy wins in other flows that we want to do. So definitely a different experience when you kind of understand more so what's happening and how to leverage it. So as far as what's next for us, we're going to continue to look into loyalty, add some more personalization. We want to do some location-based triggers, maybe layer in some things around like the weather, here is this, and send you guys some products that you may be interested in. So super excited to do that, potentially in like Q3. Continue templatizing our emails. We have big goals and big deliverables, and we have some really great content coming up, so helping to make that a little more streamlined, we'll be able to really do like more creative and interesting stories. Including waterfall logic, which makes my life so much easier. Instead of making a zillion versions of something, I can just make one version and build it on the back end, and then it'll show dynamically, so that is a huge win in my opinion. And then just increasing personalization overall. You guys, did the work to recently integrate with Nosto, which is going to be huge for me. I'm going to use that in my welcome series. So we'll leverage live polling, and then based off the results of live polling, we'll send them an email saying like, hey, you want men's denim? Here are some hand-picked styles for you. So collectively, this really helps me do my job better. I think it's made me look like a bit of a rock star, so I'm grateful.
Sure
and my creative team is also very grateful.
And that's all we have for you today. If you see Randall out on the floor, feel free to ask questions and check some of this out. And if you're not a member of the Faherty loyalty program, go back and sign up.
You probably are, though.
And you just don't know.
Yeah, you probably are.
Thank you, everybody. We hope you enjoyed.